You might be at a point where each day bleeds into each day. You know the drill. You spend most of your time taking care of all those daily tasks, taking care of everyone else. So by the time you find a few moments to be by yourself, flop down on the couch, you find yourself sitting there with these thoughts in your mind. There must be something better than this. Is this all that there is? Is this the reward that I get for putting in a lifetime of hard work? Am I destined to sit here and grow heavier and heavier as each day passes? Yes, you may be at a point where you're feeling stuck. Well, if this does sound like you, I want to let you know that you're not alone. Many people go through this exact same experience. This is merely the result of falling into a habit that has been established over time. The good news about that is that you're the one who created the pattern, which means that you're the one that can make whatever changes you want to your life. That's why today I'm going to be sharing with you some simple steps to get yourself unstuck so that you can break your current pattern and set yourself up for a more rewarding life of good health and one that suits your purpose. Let's dive in. Welcome to episode 34 of the LeRock Show, where I'm here to help you get your fitness back on track at any age and regardless of your current fitness level, so you can spend more quality time with your families, have a brighter outlook on life, and finally find the true joy that life has to offer. I'm your host, LeRock. I'm feeling lucky today and thankful for what life has given me. I am excited to be hanging out with you today as I do my best to share my message so that I can hopefully help you make some change in your life. If you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, thanks for listening and thanks for your reviews because your thoughts and opinions really do matter to me. The wonderful thing I love about the podcasting part of this show is that it allows you to listen as you go about your daily tasks, allowing you to receive the message of positivity that I'm sending your way each week. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for hanging out again today. Thanks for keeping at it. And thanks for believing in yourself. And most of all, thanks for trusting in me. I look forward to your comments and feedback each week because it only helps to motivate me more to create more solutions to those challenges or roadblocks that you send my way each week. Yeah, this week I was really just thinking back to the earlier version of myself. I remember that I was so caught up in living a life that was just repetitive, the same thing day in and day out. A life that truly wasn't my purpose. And I wasn't living the life that I believed that I deserved to live. Many of the things that truly meant something to me on a physical level, even on a spiritual level, had slowly drifted away. And I was left simply going through the motions. It wasn't like some traumatic thing had taken place. It was much more subtle than that. Yes, something that ever so slowly took over. So that eventually all I had was work, chores, food, and television, and very little feeling of true fulfillment. I was lacking in energy and motivation of any kind. In fact, I did everything I could to keep myself distracted so that I wouldn't have to deal with the feelings that I had. Well, the good news is that I did find my way out of it. I found a way to become unstuck. In fact, today I'm going to share with you some simple steps that you can begin using today so that you can do the exact same thing and get yourself moving in the right direction, the direction that you want to be moving in, allowing you to break some undesired patterns so that you can begin getting your health back and finding some true fulfillment as well. If you're new to the channel, welcome. And I want to give you a free gift for joining us. Now, this gift can really help you kick it up a notch when it comes to your weight loss. It relates to a specific eating approach that I created called Automate Your Plate. Long story short, I spent the majority of my life studying health and fitness. I began studying health and fitness at the young age of 13. And by my late teens, I was in amazing shape. However, even with all that knowledge and all that education and drive that I had, by the time I was in my early 20s, I found myself in the state of obesity for the first time. And what I did at that point is I ended up going back in the gym using all my education and know-how. I spent hours in the gym. I weighed all my food, controlled all my portions, and I managed to get all the weight off again. I managed to build all my muscles back up again, and I thought I had found the answer. But the next 9 years, I went up and down, up and down, up and down, losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight. And eventually 9 years later, I found myself in the state of obesity for a second time. And the second time is when I found the true answers to get myself out for the long term. You see, I created a roadmap to get myself out. It involved not only the science, the biological science and nutrition and working out, but it involved psychology. And what I did is I created a book years later called Fit Anyway, the 9 Simple Directives to Win at Weight Loss and Change Your Life Forever. That book right there. And I also created an online course that hand walks the student through all 9 of the directives, leaving no stone unturned. It requires weekly homework and keeps the student accountable. But one of the directives, directive number 3, is automate your plate. It's an eating approach that I created. I used it to shed 65 pounds in 13 weeks. And that was more than 15 years ago now. I've maintained a healthy and fit body ever since. The advantage of this eating approach is that it provides you with all the answers you are looking for. Not just the what to eat, but how much to eat. What are the portion sizes? What is the frequency? When you should eat? And it allows you much control of what goes on your plate. So you're not restricted, you're not limited. You're allowed to choose what you want to eat. And the cool thing is that it has automation built right into it. So it actually helps you to avoid those temptations you deal with on a daily basis. And furthermore, those that have tried it and followed it correctly have had amazing results. So yes, I put together a free step-by-step checklist. It's called the Automate Your Plate Checklist. It steps you through the whole Automate Your Plate process, and you can use it as your very own quick start guide so that you can begin automating your plate today. The Automate Your Plate Checklist, what it does, it takes everything that I teach on this directive number 3 in my book, and it simplifies it all down into a single page cheat sheet. Like I said, I've been following the Automate Your Plate eating approach for more than 15 years, and I must say without that and the other 8 directives in my book, I would definitely not be in the shape that I'm in today. I'm 52 years old. I have 10% or less body fat on average, and I feel amazing. I feel energized and I feel alive. And that is why I'm giving away the Automate Your Plate checklist to everyone for free, because I want to get it in everyone's hands that I can, so that everyone can have the benefit of feeling the way I do. For those listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify or one of the other podcast networks, you can pick up a copy by going to www.ethanlerock.com/automate. And if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below. You can click on it and you can get it there. Okay, so yes, this week we're going to dig in and we're going to go through the process of getting you unstuck, finally helping you to get moving in the direction you want to move in. And by that, I mean I want to motivate you. I want to instill in you some specific steps that you can take to stop you from this state of overwhelm, to give you some clear answers and some clear direction so that you can get unstuck and so that you can start moving forward in the direction that you want to go in. I'm not going to be giving you some general statements. I'm going to be very specific so you can actually take action today and start seeing some results as soon as this week. So please grab a piece of paper, a journal, and a pen and get ready to write some things down because we're about to dig in. So the very first thing I want you to do is I want you to create what I call your dream list. I want you to sit down with a piece of paper and write out what your passions in life are. The things that fill you up, that make you feel whole, that make you feel happy and joy in your heart. All the things that are currently missing from your life. You know, in reality, being reasonable and realistic, what would your dream life be like based on your current state within the means of what you have? You know, what are the things that you wish you had in your life on a daily basis? You know, something that's just, you've forgotten that it was missing, but it definitely isn't there anymore. And you want it so badly to come back into your life. Now, some of those things, the very first thing that you should include is your health and fitness. If you're not in a good state of health and fitness, if you're severely overweight, you haven't been eating correctly, you haven't been getting some exercise on a regular basis, then that's the very first thing that I definitely think you should write down. Because without your foundation, without your health and fitness, everything else in life suffers. And it's very hard to take control and take charge of your life when you're in a poor state of health. The The next thing you might want to be thinking about is your relationship. Are there any things that are missing from your relationship right now that slowly over time have dwindled and faded? And that now with the routine of life, with the cycle of life, with working and chores and children and carting kids to, their games and their practices and rushing here and there and doing volunteer work or whatever else you're doing in life, they've lost sight of the value of the intimacy in your relationship. Just the daily simple things that you used to do with your partner. And of course, on your dream list, there should be the things like your hobbies. Is there an instrument that you've always wanted to play? Or were you ever interested in dance? Were you ever interested in arts and crafts, mechanics, auto mechanics, stained glass working, singing, whatever it is that made you feel happy inside, something that you were passionate about, and only you know what that is. I want you to write those things down. And just trust me right now, just take a few moments, write them down, and we'll come back to it. And I'm asking you to do this for a very specific reason. And it does have to do with our psychology. One of the main reasons that people lose a sense of purpose and meaning in life is because, for whatever reason in life, they end up losing their focus. They become stuck. They lose sight of what's important to them. Those things that make you feel complete on the inside. Because life becomes very busy when we allow it to. We start out getting a job, and then we buy things, and then we buy more things, and then we have all these bills that we have to pay. So we're committed to our work, and we're working as many hours as we can in order to pay those bills. And then we get busy with the daily grunt of life, right? Doing the chores, carting the kids around, and the next thing you know, there's no more room for us. There's no more room for what we wanted in life, what truly fulfills us. We forget what our purpose and meaning is altogether. We find ourselves sitting there one day with this very uneasy feeling in our stomach or in the pit of our stomach. And we can't quite put our finger on what it is, but we know deep down that something's missing, that there's got to be more to life than this, than sitting here doing the same things over and over again every day, the same unfulfilling things, and yet we're seemingly doing well in life. We have the house, we have the car, maybe every once in a while we get to go on vacation, and we compare ourselves to other people. We seem to be doing okay, but deep down inside, we know that we're not satisfied. We're not happy. We're not content. We're not living up to our true purpose. And that's what we're talking about today, getting you unstuck so that you no longer have this feeling, so you can start taking control and getting the life that you want to have, getting that truly fulfilling life back, bringing back all those passions into your life. And I'm going to talk you through the process of doing that. Now, the second thing I want you to do, after you've taken some time and written out your dream list, all your passions, all those things that meant so much to you that somehow have slipped away. I want you to write out the things that you're currently doing in your life that you must do. The things that need you physically to do. So, for example, getting ready for work in the morning, getting things together, maybe doing whatever it is you do for a living, whether you have a business or whether you are an employee or whatever it is to, maintain life, right? To be able to afford the things in life that you have. Participating with your family, with your spouse and your kids, being able to interact on a daily basis and be there to support and nurture them, being there for your spouse. These are all things that, yes, you do need to do on a daily basis. And I want you to write all those things down. And I want you to write down next to them, roughly how much time per day you spend on them, whatever that might be. And there's various ways of going about it. One way that I teach, it's called life planning, where you basically chunk out your entire day and you figure out what you're doing in your schedule. So you're taking control of your schedule. But I've done several videos on that, so I'm not going to go there today. All I'm saying to you is I want you to write down the things that you must do on a daily basis and get an idea of how much time that entails every day, even if it is an everyday thing. And I advise that the things that you must do are likely a thing that you have to do every day, and get a grip on what that time is on that so that you can get some control over how much time you're spending on it. Now, this third one, this is the tough one. I want you to sit down and I want you to write out a list now of all the things you do on a daily basis that actually don't really require you to do them. You may have it up here where you've actually set yourself up over time based on habit and patterns, that these have all of a sudden become your responsibility that you do on a daily basis. And there are a number of activities that fall under this category. Some examples are, taking out the garbage, cleaning the house, doing the laundry, driving the kids to their practices, picking up the kids from school, washing the car, mowing the lawn, grocery shopping, volunteer work, sitting on boards or committees or school committees and participating voluntarily, working on your automobile, doing yard maintenance, doing house maintenance, and all these other things that fall on your shoulders on a daily basis. The things that take away all your time. Now, the reason this is a tough one, because many of us are mentally set up to just assume that because we're either a male or a female or a provider or a guardian or whatever you want to call it, whatever label we put on ourselves, it makes us responsible to do every single task. So here's the difficult part. After you've written out this list of all these things that you're doing that actually could be done by someone else, I want you to sit there and think about your family situation. Think about the members in your family that could maybe help contribute and you could delegate some of these items to. Even your children. Is it fair what's going on in your situation? Is it balanced? Is your spouse taking on just as much as you are? Are your children kind of just doing whatever they want and you're catering to them? Or do they have some chores put in place? Is it balanced? And after you've gone through this scenario in your head of writing down who could possibly take over some of these little things, when you get to a point where there's no answers, where there's nobody that can really, and I really want you to work on that first part. I don't want you to just give up on it. I want you to sit there and think about who in the family could help, take some of this burden off my shoulders. Free me up just a little bit so that I can start, living a little more fulfilling life. And when you can't there's no more names, there's no more solutions you can come up with, I want you to start thinking about some subcontractors that maybe you could outsource some of this stuff to. An example might be a house cleaner that comes in once or twice a week, or, whatever it might be. Whatever it is, that task that you're doing that you or your family can't be delegated to, I want you to think about a service that's out there, and I want you to seek it out on the internet. That's the best way to do it. Or some advice, ask some friends on, one of your groups or your social media that you're in, whether they have somebody that supports them that they can recommend. Now, after you've gone through this process, and it's not easy, but it's very, very beneficial over the long term, I want you to do number 4. What I want you to do is I want you to have those difficult conversations, likely starting with your spouse. I want you to talk about what you're going through. I want you to talk about your feelings, how you feel that you're at a point now where you want to make some change. You don't have to dive into the whole depths of you don't feel like you're living your purpose, or you feel like, there's no more passion in your life. But you can share with them, and it depends on what you feel like sharing, but you can share that you do want to make an improvement in your life. And part of this improvement is going to require some time for you to work on you. So ask them for their help. Ask them, on those specific tasks where you don't really need to be doing them. And see if they can help you. What can they take on that list? How comfortable do they feel taking on some of these chores that are on your plate? And then what I want you to do with your children, I want you to truly assess what it is they're doing on a daily basis when they get home from school or whatever it might be. And what do you think realistically and fairly that you can assign to them? And then I want you to have the conversations with your children too. I want you to say, this is what we're doing. This is no longer my responsibility. These are some chores you're going to do on this day of the week and that day of the week and that day of the week. Whether it be vacuuming, whether it be cleaning the bedrooms, whether it be taking the garbage out, whether it be doing the dishes, and just have that conversation. And it's not, at this point, you need to be the parent, okay? There is such thing as democracy. But when you're a parent, there's give and take, yes. But when you're at a point in your life, and I don't know your situation, maybe you're a really good parent and you do instill these things in your children. But if time is it's gotten out of hand and it's gotten away from you over time because of the way our society is right now, then I encourage you to put this responsibility onto your children. Delegate some of these items to your children. You're going to be doing two things. You're going to be improving your situation. You're going to be taking some burden off your shoulders that you've been carrying. You're going to make things a lot more balanced and fair in your home. And you're going to be teaching these children responsibility. You're going to be teaching them to be accountable in life, be self-sufficient in life, and that everything just doesn't come to them, that the world doesn't owe them something, that things are earned in life. And you know what? You're also going to give them some feeling of self-esteem, that they're taking care of these things, that they're responsible. And they'll do much better when they get put into society as they get older, as they become adults, because they'll be prepared to actually take care of themselves. And the other part of the discussion that you're going to have with your spouse is when you run out of all those things that you can delegate and you have to outsource some of the stuff, well, the discussion of money comes into play. And everybody has a different feeling when it comes to money. You yourself might have a problem with it. But the last thing you need to do is shoot down any reasons, any opportunities where you can outsource to an outside service because, I can't afford it, or we don't have money for that. Because the amount of money that you can spend to have somebody come in, for example, clean your house, or maybe do your grocery shopping, or maybe cut your grass, or maybe wash your car, the benefit you're going to get from the freedom of freeing up your time far outweighs the cost, these low, it's usually minimum wage type costs that you'd have to spend to have somebody do that a few days a week. Take it from someone that's been there. Take it from someone who's done it. Some of the things that I've done in life where I've outsourced, many times after I've done it, I ask myself, why didn't I do it a long time ago? And another part of this whole thing, when you go through it all and you have the conversations, the difficult conversations with your spouse and your children, and the back and forth, and I want you to be strong and I want you to have courage to continue through the discussions even when they're difficult. And there will be some compromise, but I want you to stay strong. I want you to stay strong and protect yourself. Be there as your own advocate. Look out for yourself. Because if your answer is always, it's too difficult, this conversation is too difficult, I'm just going to do it, I'll just do it myself, then what type of life are you going to have? Is it going to change? The only way you can make changes in your life is to make change happen. And whatever you do, don't allow yourself to start feeling guilty. Having these internal thoughts in your mind that, who am I to start pushing away my responsibilities on everyone else? And, it really is my job. I'm the dad in the house, or I'm the mom in the house. It's up to me. I'm the one that should be doing this. Who do I think I am? And that's a normal thing. As human beings, that's what we do. It's our own self-sabotage. Actually, what it is, it's self-protection that we have built into us. It's to protect us from change. As humans, we don't like change. Most people do not like change at all. And in your psyche and in your subconscious, what you're constantly doing is trying to find ways to prevent change from happening. And that's where negative thinking comes from. Whenever you try to make a change in your life, and if you really think about it, step back and think about it. Think about a time you wanted to invest in something, or you want to take some sort of a risk, or you wanted to make a career move. All the negative thoughts and decisions and judgments that go on inside your mind. Well, they're all there to protect you. They're there to protect you from harm, but more so, they're there to protect you from change. Your mind naturally wants to stay comfortable. So you'll start thinking to yourself, oh, well, Joan's mom, she does this thing, so I should be doing it too. Or, John's dad does this thing, so I should be doing it too. Or, yeah, my husband says that's the woman's job in the house. Or my wife says that's the guy's job in the house. And, I really, deep inside, I feel guilty about this because I think it's something that I should be doing. And I really don't think we can afford this. And you start having all these discussions in your mind and you shoot yourself down. That's what I want you to avoid. Don't allow yourself to sabotage yourself with guilt. So the whole point of this thing was to get you unstuck. You want to get unstuck. You want off the hamster wheel. You want to stop finding yourself sitting there crashed out on the couch, watching television or scrolling on your phone or watching some sort of series, episode after episode after episode, with no meaning and no feeling of true purpose and fulfillment in your life. You want to get unstuck. So what I want you to do now, the fifth thing that I recommend, the fifth step, is I want you to get out your dream list, the very first list you created when we started this whole thing. And I want you to go through it. And I want you to start, like I said, with your health and fitness. I want you to find a way, now that you've freed up your schedule a little bit, you've got some of these things off your plate, you've taken these steps, and it's not an all-at-once thing. It happens a little bit at a time, one little step after one little step after one little step. And you slowly get some of these things off your plate, off your responsibility, so that you can, start bringing some of these passions back into your life. And the very first thing I want you to do is I want you to find some time to plan out your nutrition. Yes, because that's one of the most effective things you can do for your health and fitness. A lot of people focus on these workout channels where people are going through and they're doing all these different workouts and different workout approaches. And they talk about the calorie burn and all this stuff. Well, nutrition is way more important than that. You can actually lose weight and keep it off for a lifetime without doing any exercise at all. So nutrition is the very first thing that I want you to make time for. I want you to figure out how you're going to eat in a controlled way that'll keep you away from the fast food restaurants, keep you away from the high glycemic index carbohydrates, sugars, to keep your insulin levels down and normal so that they're not always spiking and causing insulin resistance in your body, which just redirects all your energy into your fat stores. That's where the biggest bang is for your buck. After your psychology, it's your nutrition. So I want you to find a way that once a week you can just plan out what you're going to eat. And then I want you to figure out a time in your schedule where you can actually prepare these meals in a reasonable way, so that they're not consuming all your time while you're cooking them. Figure out an efficient way to get those meals prepared and have them handy at all times throughout the day so that you're never left stranded and hungry and vulnerable, and so that you won't have to give in to willpower. That's what I want you to do first. The second thing, obviously, I want you to fill it in with some leisure exercise time, going for walks, whatever it might be each day, and just slowly build yourself up so that you're doing better than what you are currently. If you're currently not doing anything physical in your day, exercise, I want you to slowly take some baby steps and start doing some walking on a regular basis. But I also want you to sit down and start strategizing about something physical that you could bring into your life that will help your muscles to grow. Because one of the other key things for keeping the weight off and keeping yourself healthy and fit is to have a really quick metabolism. You're just, when you're sitting or when you're sleeping, that you're burning a lot of calories. And one of the best ways to do that is with resistance training. Building up those muscles so that they're burning more energy is basically how it works in layman's terms. It's much more complex than that, but I'm just going to share it with you simply today so that you can kind of have an understanding of what I'm talking about. Now, once you've gotten the health and fitness thing out of the way, You set yourself up for a healthy life. A life where you feel like you can physically do things. You feel a lot more like your younger self. Then what I want you to do is the exciting part. I want you to look at all the other things on your list. Okay? All those passions, all those dreams, all those things that are currently missing from your life. That instrument you used to play, or that instrument you always wanted to play, that language that you always wanted to learn. That dance class that you always want to take, that yoga class that you've always been curious about. That gym, maybe you wanted to build your muscle. Maybe one of the things you've always wanted to do is you've wanted to be a bodybuilder. Muscles mean something to you. So you wanted to have, a well-balanced physique, where everything is proportioned correctly, where you have a six-pack, where your muscle tone shows, where you feel strong and vibrant and alive. Maybe you always like hiking. Maybe there's places locally that you could go for a hike at each day. Something in your life that you're passionate about. And of course, that includes your relationship. Find time in your week to have a date night with your spouse. Find time on a daily basis to begin the fundamental thing that you need when you're in a relationship. The fundamentals of touch, intimacy, kissing, of course, but even holding hands, hugging, dancing, making time to just sit and have a chat with each other, listening to some music, maybe having a little romantic dinner, and just reconnecting. And do that as much as you possibly can during the week, within reason. Because once you do that, again, it's like you're just improving your armor in life. You've got your health and fitness right. You start building your relationship back up to being strong, like it once was. And just keep plugging along. Start bringing these passions into your life, whatever they might be. Those things that fill you with purpose, that fill you up on the inside, that make you feel like, yes, I'm doing the right thing in life. Maybe create a YouTube channel where you discuss things that mean something to you, where you can be of benefit to other people out there and share with them your thoughts on the world or on that thing, that hobby, or that thing that you're really good at. Because going through life feeling unfulfilled, feeling like you're just a hamster running on a wheel, and sitting there on the couch one day and looking back and saying, is this it? Is this what I worked my butt off my entire life for? Is so I can sit here and watch television, go to sleep tonight, go to work tomorrow, pass by my wife or my husband, say, hey, how are you doing? Love you, bye. Go to work, go through the stresses of work all day long, get done work, come home, rush and pick up the kids, make dinner, do the grocery shopping, spend my weekend cutting the grass, cleaning the car, doing the house maintenance, doing the car maintenance, carting everybody to where they need to be in life. If that's the life you're living, and if that's the life you want to change, then only you can change it. And part of it is bringing those passions back into your life, bringing that purpose and meaning back into your life, getting yourself healthy and fit again. It all starts there. Now, those are 5 real clear things I've shared with you. And the only way those 5 things are going to work is if you actually take charge and begin by doing them, by implementing them today into your life. In summary, you really can become unstuck. You have the power to do that. You have the choice on a daily basis. There definitely is a way out of the monotony. And you don't need to win the lottery to begin living life on your terms, to begin living a life of meaning and purpose. Fulfillment is possible, and the power is in your hands. It takes some courage, it takes some strategic thinking, and it takes the willingness and courage to take charge. And you are 100% capable of making that happen. And the truth is, if you don't, nobody else will. And life will pretty much be the same way it is right now. So get up off that couch. Write out your dream list. Write out those passions, those things that are currently missing from your life. And then write out those things that you must do on a daily basis. Understandably, all the things that you have to do and put some time next to them. Get an idea of how much time you're spending doing them. And then third, write out your delegation list. Start writing it out today. All those things that you're doing that apparently are your responsibility that you really don't have to be doing, that you don't physically need to be the one doing them. Your delegation list. And start getting some ideas and writing names down next to those items and activities of people in your family that you can delegate to. And once you've exhausted that list, write down next to some that where maybe you could outsource to, and begin doing some research for some services that could take care of that for you. You know, mowing the lawn, doing the laundry, grocery shopping. Yes, shuttling your kids if needed. Whatever it might be that can free up some of your valuable time so that you can begin living the life you want to live. And then what I want you to do is just start taking some action. Have those necessary conversations, starting with your spouse and also with your children, about delegating these things. You know, there will be a little bit of compromise, but on the most part, I want you to stay strong. I want you to have courage. And like I said earlier, I want you to be an advocate for yourself because you have it within you. You have the strength within you. Everything you have in your life, you've created. This current pattern that you're living was created by you, believe it or not. Slowly but surely, your life became the way it is because you had thoughts in your mind of what it should be. And then you allowed certain things to take place in your life because you do have control over everything that's happening to you, whether you know it or not. And the amazing part about that is you also have the control to change it all to the way you want it to be. And once you've had all those conversations and you've delegated and you've determined what you're going to outsource to contractors and other services, then I want you to start bringing those things from your passion list, from your dream list, into your life. All those things that are currently missing, that have the greatest potential for giving you fulfillment, for making you feel good in your heart, for making you feel like, yes, this life does have a meaning and purpose. I'm not just a parent, or I'm not just a person I'm not just this job that I'm in. I'm not like, first, I'm a project manager. I'm not just a project manager. I'm not just a father to my daughter. I'm a person who's living a fulfilled life. I'm a person who's healthy and fit, caring and passionate, who loves to serve others. You know, whatever it is for you that makes you who you are, that fills you up on the inside. I want you to find that. And that's how you become unstuck, by following those 5 things. Now, I'm super excited today, and I'm hoping in my heart that I've helped you turn on some light bulbs and have a different perspective about what your life could be, about the changes that you can make. And it definitely is all possible. It's all possible. And if one of your dream list items, like I said, it should be, is to get your health and fitness back, to lose some weight, then I encourage you to take full advantage and download my free Automate Your Plate checklist, the one that I talked about at the beginning of the video. And the reason I say that is because I know from experience that there are many diets out there that you can go with, and there are some good ones. But through trial and error, I found that my Automate Your Plate eating approach is extremely effective. It's simple to follow. It's easy. It's not complex. And it's got automation built right into it. It's there. The main thing that's great about it is it stops you from temptation on a daily basis because the way it's set up, the automation in how you prepare the foods, and then the automation of how you have foods with you at all times. That's the key. In the end, the Automate Your Plate checklist, which is a free download, will save you so much wasted time and effort. And it'll actually takes you and it steps you through the entire Automate Your Plate process, removing all the confusion so that you'll be automating your plate in no time. It's as simple as download it, print it, follow the steps, begin automating your plate, and you're going to find yourself wondering, like I was, why didn't I start doing this a long time ago? If you want a copy of that, you can download a free copy at ethanlerock.com/automate. And if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down below. You can click on it and you can get it there. Now, before we go, I know today's episode, where I spelled out the 5 different steps you can take, seems a lot more difficult than the way I spelled it out. I need to take a moment to talk to your inner voice, because I can imagine, I can hear it right now, screaming at you saying, yeah, okay, I'm going to write down all the things that are my responsibilities right now, and I'm going to delegate them to somebody else in the family. Oh, and I'm going to be able to afford to outsource things, to other subcontractors or services. And you're going to begin having some negative thought in your mind. Why do I know this? Because I've been through it all. I know how it works. Well, I'm here to tell you, you need to ignore that voice. It's just a negative voice in your mind that's trying to stop you from making change in your life. It's trying to use logic and reason to shut you down, to get you back to the way things are, living comfortably by going to work, rushing home, dealing with the chaos, dealing with the kids, doing everything for everyone else, so that you're left sitting there distracted, watching television, so you can get a little bit of sleep at night, and so you can start it all again in the morning. You need to trust me on this one. That negative voice in your head is not going to help you. You need to take charge. You need to take control. You need to shut that voice down and begin making some momentum in your life. And once you find some momentum, all these things, all these negative thoughts, they'll fall at the wayside, because you're going to reap the benefits. Your life will be improved. Likely your life is going to be more like you want it to be. And as a minimum, you're going to start feeling like you're living more of your purpose. Trust me, if I can do this thing, anyone can. And by all means, before you go, please feel free to leave me some comments. Share with me some of the ideas that maybe you came up with for your dream list. Some of the passions and interests that you want to bring back into your life. Maybe share those in the comments, because I love it when I see people taking charge, making a change in their life, whether it be their health and fitness, whether it be their relationships, their careers, whatever it might be, their passions and dreams. That's why I'm here. That's why I do this every week, to help you make change, to help you find a way to get unstuck so that you can move forward, get your health and fitness back, feel passion, feel life, feel like there's some purpose, so that you can take charge, and so that you don't feel helpless in this thing called life. I'm thankful and honored that I got to be here once again with you, to share with you some of life's little tips and tricks, some of the things from life's playbook, so that you can implement them into your life and repeat what I did in my life, to change it all around, and to serve as some inspiration so that you can find the joy that you deserve to have in your life. Have a blessed remainder of the day and the week. And until we meet again, stay healthy, be happy, and live your life with intention every single day.